Hey, Tanya.
Doing?
Hey, it's been a long time.
Seems like it. It sure has.
Yeah.
Um, I'm sitting here now, just trying to get everybody invited, let them know that we kind of back here, so that we are not missing in action. That we have something awesome for them today. So, how you been doing, Flo?
Hey, I've been doing good. Traveling just like you. Going again in the 13th. I'll be going to Orlando. Then after that, coming back and going to Massachusetts. So we are the traveling duo.
Yes, I just flew in from Houston out there doing some uplifting and getting my spirituality in order, along with helping people get their adjusters license and certifications and
Okay.
speaking courses. That big storm really did put a hurting on people, and there was such a big need for adjusters, and so many of them needed to get certified. And Texas is where I guess a lot of people have to go, or they get a different type of license or something in Texas.
Yeah.
So while I was out there, I got busy, and it was just awesome. So got my feet wet on the adjuster side also. uh, Hey, I just kind of threw myself in it because I saw the need, and definitely it was one of those great things. So,
A
um,
jack of all trades in the financial industry. That's what you are.
absolutely.
a jack of all trades in the financial industry.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I think Anthony's going to come on a little bit later. I'm pretty sure he's going to come and say he's going to get on. Might be a little bit later than we expect, but we're going to get Anthony Murray in here. But today it is Tanya, Scott Pilcher, and myself. We have, like she just said, we have an awesome podcast for you today. This is Mad Flow Financial, which believes that you can't teach what you don't know. So we're going to make sure that we're always teaching you something so you'll know it. This is of the ATR brand. Basically, ATR, all what ATR stands for.
All things relevant.
There you go. All things relevant. The pod show that comes on what? Every Friday, 1 p.m. And we're talking about finance all the time. What we want to do is help you to understand your finance by giving you what you need in order to do that. And what that is knowledge. And we always having great guests on here. So I'm going to turn it over to Tanya, and after Tanya introduces herself again, we're going to introduce a great guest today, because if you ever had to go through foreclosures or you're in a foreclosure right now, you want to definitely stay tuned and listen to this guy and what he has to share in reference to foreclosures, understanding how they work and how to get out of them if you want to try to get out of them. Great show today. Go ahead, Tanya.
Well, hey, I don't even know what you just said because I'm sitting here watching my foreclosure gentleman. I'm Tanya Scott Pilcher with Get Skills, and hey, I am just excited to be back. I am filled with just excitement about our speaker today, and just so glad, to be here. One of the other things I want to mention is that Get Skills will have another insurance course for those people that are interested in getting into the insurance industry, again, which is $1 trillion industry. It's scheduled for Saturday and Sunday, November 20th and 21st. And then it's a 4-day class. So the second portion of the class will be on the 27th and 28th. So those that are interested in getting your insurance license, please join us on that day. So I thank you so much. So Flo, I hear we're going to talk about foreclosures and evictions, and
Yeah.
what's going on in that area. I tried to do a little research. I know there's been a moratorium, but I think there's going to be some fallout real soon. So you want to go ahead and bring our guest in?
Okay, Mr. Sheldon Hill is going to give us more information. Welcome, Sheldon.
We
You're on
can't.
mute. And you're still on mute. Or maybe you need to turn your volume up because you're not on mute.
Oh, you want your speaker, your earpiece. You're not coming across to us.
Yeah, we're not trying to keep this a secret from you guys. He's coming on here.
Unmute. You can't unmute your guest. Okay, he's got to unmute himself. Okay, now hit your unmute. There we go.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Now we got you.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for having me today. I want to say I appreciate that, first of all. It's so many different areas we can get started. Where would you guys like to get started?
Well, let's get started by introducing yourself to the audience. Let them know what you do, and we'll go from there.
Okay. That sounds awesome. So my name is Sheldon Hill. I'm with Foreclosure International Group. We're a national company. We do business all over the country. And we've been in business over 30 years. And we help people that are going through foreclosures and evictions. We stop foreclosures, evictions. We educate people on restructuring, reducing, and eliminating debt, just to name a few. But I can go on, but I'll stop with that so far. But I would start to say that I heard you guys saying earlier, the moratorium has been lifted, just to let you guys know. Um, as of August 31st of this year, they lifted it. So if you're not in a VA, FHA, Fannie Mac, or Freddie Mae loan, you're in jeopardy of losing your home.
Really? Wait a minute. Start over. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
So let's explain to people what the moratorium allowed people to do, because maybe some don't even understand what they did when they made a telephone call to their mortgage company.
Okay, so basically, what people have done is the president, well, let's start here. The president put a moratorium on foreclosures and evictions for the last year, year and a half. And last month, they lifted that moratorium. They put an additional 60 days on it, but that ended as of August 31st. So what that entailed is you had an opportunity to not pay your mortgage, simply put. I don't want to get too technical, for that period of time. However, a lot of people don't know, since you didn't pay that mortgage, the banks have required that they've extended that period to you. So because you took that full advantage of that, now that money is due in full, simply put. So we had a lady a couple of weeks ago. She called us. She owed the bank. She stopped her foreclosure, but she was on that moratorium. That moratorium lifted. The bank told her you had to pay it in full, $18,000. Of course, as we all know, nobody has that kind of money. So it kind of, you set yourself up for failure. So that was the whole thing about the moratorium. A lot of people didn't know. Yeah, it helped you temporarily, but if you weren't making payments or didn't make arrangements, you're in trouble. And what economists are saying now, because of the lift of the moratorium, over 12 million people nationwide will be affected by either foreclosure or eviction.
Whoa.
Okay.
Wow.
I got a question. Y'all use some big words here, and I'm pretty sure no question is a stupid question, and people probably out there want to know the same thing I want to know is this.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I had a forbearance. I
Correct.
have not paid any of my mortgage for 18 months.
Correct.
Now I started paying my payments this month, but I had options. And my options, the company called me last month and we set it up. I
Okay.
could do a refinance. I could do a
Ooh, what's the
put
choice?
all the money in the back and start my
Okay.
payments right where I stopped at.
Mm-hmm.
Or it was another choice, or I can pay it up front, which was that other choice. So the word moratorium and forbearance, are they in the same categories? What is those two words? So explain those words to the audience, because I'm pretty sure those are foreign words to me. I'm pretty sure it's foreign words to someone else.
Now, okay, so you're asking me what is a moratorium and what is a forbearance? Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah. Explain the two difference.
Okay, so the moratorium is basically, it puts a halt to all payments, which does not affect your credit in any kind of way, because that was set up to stop anyone that, because and this all derived, by the way, from the actual pandemic, when people were losing their jobs. So what they did was, the government decided to put a ban on stopping foreclosures and evictions, because so many people were out of work, so many businesses were shutting down, and those kind of things. So put a ban on that. So, and I don't want to get too technical, but what happened is the National Association of Realtors said, well, hey, basically you guys can't put a ban on the moratorium because that's unconstitutional. When in actuality, they were right. So they went to Supreme Court and filed a complaint against the government. And so the judge in Supreme Court ruled in their favor. So when that happened, that lifted the moratorium. So, and that ended, like I said, August of this year, August 31st. So that's what happened as far as the moratorium. Now, forbearance, basically a forbearance is saying you can take payments and apply those payments. If you've gotten behind, refinance it and put those payments on the back end. And so, and then you just make payments on it. You start making payments every month on the arrears plus your mortgage, what you currently owe. So that's the difference in the two.
Okay. So I was a victim of both of them. Foreclosure on investment property. So I had foreclosed on investment property.
Okay.
And then on one of my investment properties and also my personal home, I took advantage of the forbearance. So I had no idea what you're talking about when it comes to that I could have possibly saved or um, stopped the foreclosure
Right.
in my favor. I wish that I had known that information earlier. I did not know, any steps towards that. So I thank you for being here because now it's going to help a whole lot of people that were probably in the same situation I am. So I just basically let the house go through foreclosure, the whole steps, because I didn't know there was a way you can actually stop a foreclosure and stop an eviction and that kind of stuff there. So and like I said, I was a victim of both foreclosure and also with the pandemic of the forbearance. Now I'm my um, paying my mortgage again, one of my investment property and one of my personal home. But I can say, one thing with the bank that I'm with, the company that had my mortgage, they're working very, very close with me because when I went through forbearance on one of my properties, I did not have escrow. I paid the um, property insurance and the health hazard insurance out of pocket, and I really got tired of doing that. But after I started paying, Lord, they gave me an option. I was able to add my hazard insurance, flood insurance, and my insurance and my health insurance. Let me see, hazard insurance and the flood insurance on as an escrow. So that was a plus for me. It was a plus. That means I don't have to worry about paying that out of pocket every year like I've been doing. And sometime this year would have caught me up because I didn't have the extra funds to pay towards um those type of extra bills that popped up. But thank you for being here because that was the first time I heard that word moratorium. So I'm getting educated as we speak. I've heard of forbearance and understood that, but I did not understand on the first time really hearing that word. But if you're involved in that, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people involved in that right now, they understood and heard that word moratorium. But first time I heard it. Thank you, Tanya, for bringing it up because I didn't understand what that meant.
Right. And also to add to that, there's other ways. There's also, which we deal with every day around across the country, we deal with loss mitigation. Also, that's another way to stop your foreclosure that a lot of people are not aware of. See, we're very big in educating people and helping people understand because, as they say, knowledge is power. So, in reverse, the banks know that a lot of people don't know things, so they use that to take advantage of folks. And I'm not going to call out any names, but we deal with all of them. But so there's also, like I said, if you're facing a foreclosure, if you have someone that has the knowledge and expertise like us, they can go in and negotiate with the banks to stop the sale as well. with just, like I said, doing a loss mitigation. But there's several different things that apply when it comes to stopping your foreclosure that they just won't tell you. They're not willing to offer that information. And that's what makes us so key, because we don't want, I don't know if you guys heard about this, but what's going on around the country now, because so many families and are being displaced, there's something called tent city. I don't know if you've ever, T-E-N-T, city.
Tent City?
Tent city, yes, ma'am. And basically what that is families are being displaced and they're being put outdoors. And so you're seeing, I know here in where we are in Georgia, there's like, we're seeing massive tent cities popping up all over Georgia with families being placed in tents living outside. So that's, and we don't want that to happen. So it's so many different aspects of this business that that's why we love doing. And we've been doing this 30 years, so we're not new to what we do. We're very true to what we do and helping and educating people.
Mm. And when you say knowledge is power, I'm gonna add something to that. Knowledge is power, but applied knowledge is powerful. So if you get the knowledge, if y'all listening to us now, and you're getting this information, you're getting, you're getting information that's going to help you, but if you're not applying this information, it's just mute. So make sure you apply the information that is being shared. It's true. Knowledge is power, but applied knowledge, that's powerful. So know how to apply the knowledge that we're sharing with you today. So what happened to our guest? Dropped
Uh,
out?
yeah, it ended up dropping out, and hopefully we can kind of fix
Retrieve
the
it?
noise too. Yeah. So okay.
But
Uh,
Tanya, listen to
Um,
that. Loss mitigation. That's a new thing to me. Loss mitigation. New terminology.
Absolutely. So
um,
Sheldon, let's take it from the beginning. So
okay.
you have all of these people that are going to be going into foreclosure. Um,
Correct.
so are they have they been while the moratorium has been going on?
Say that
Have
again,
they
please.
been while the
Hello.
moratorium has been going on? Have they been receiving notices from their mortgage company telling them that it's going to go into foreclosure? Or is that beginning to happen now?
No, they are receiving notices saying that there's a sales date set up for this particular day. And so if they don't have the funds for that by that time, they will end up losing and being put out of their home. Because what
Mhm.
transpires right after the foreclosure, they usually set them up a court date to come to court because they'll serve them with an eviction notice. And once that eviction notice is served, typically you have 7 to maybe 10 days to answer it. If you don't answer it within that time frame, then and come into court because there's a court date set up. If you don't come in by that time, then within, I say, a 2-week period or less, the marshal will come out with his people, his crew to sit your stuff out.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
so
But
what is
I was gonna add to that.
okay, go ahead.
What I was going to say is there's also a way that people, and we do this for people too, even if you've gotten that notice or they've started the foreclosure process. There's 2 different processes. There's a foreclosure process. There's ways that can be tied up if you take it out of the local jurisdiction, meaning the local state court, and you file it in a higher court. That sometimes will stop the process of that foreclosure as well. But so that's one thing as far as stopping the foreclosure. Now, if you're facing an eviction, that process could also apply, and it buys you more time. because a lot of times, even if you're facing foreclosure or eviction, it's about getting time so you can now be have another alternative to work in your behalf, which we also have something for that. Uh, if you guys want, I'll be happy to speak on that as well. And well, I'll just say what it is we can help people, even if you've gotten a foreclosure or eviction on your record, get into another house or apartment because we have so many affiliations and contacts across the country with no credit check. Because what we're finding out with a lot of our affiliates across the country, they're saying that, hey, they got the money to move in, but if you've gotten a foreclosure or eviction on your record, you can't get into another place because, and you guys will agree, they're checking your credit. So how can you get into another place if you get having a foreclosure or eviction? So we have a way to get them into another house or apartment with no credit check, which is awesome. Go ahead.
So are you able to help people all over Georgia or just in the Atlanta area?
All,
And the other thing is that we can't see your face.
what did you say? I didn't hear you.
We can't see your
Yeah,
face.
I kind of died out. Let me see if I can get back on camera here.
Okay.
Yeah, can you see me now?
Yeah, we can see you better now. So
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
so there are going to be a lot of evictions, and there's a lot of programs out here to help people with their evictions. Where there's something in the community that will allow them to get, I guess, money. Is that ended also?
I apologize. There's a little static. So if you don't mind repeating your question, please.
Okay, so I'm asking, is
Hello?
there the government had set up nonprofit organizations to distribute funds, and so
Yeah,
are those
I'm glad
funds
you
still out
mentioned.
there?
Oh, go ahead.
Are those funds still out
Yes,
there?
they are. The problem. Yes. Did you hear my question? Can you hear
Yeah.
me? Hello?
Yes.
I said, did you hear my question?
No.
Yeah, they are still out there.
Oh, we lost him again.
Okay, so it looks as if there are funding that's out there to help people, but then I guess the next thing is, do they still have access? Is that part of really assisting a person, or is it hurting them? And then how can they stay in their home instead of losing it? And that's rent. So that's going to be one thing. People are going to want to know how to actually stay in their home, even if they have the program. So, hey, so Sheldon, are they going to be able to stay in their home after a while?
Wait, what was your question? I apologize, you guys. The audio, it keeps on dying out, so I have to send it in again, and then I'll get back on. So I miss. But
do you have a computer to get on instead of your phone?
Yes, I do. But it's going to take me a few minutes. But
okay, well, keep talking to us while you're doing it.
Okay.
Tanya, with this pandemic and the foreclosures is going about and evictions, you're looking at first-time homeowners and first-time home buyers going to being first-time homeless. In that tent city that he talked about, people being misplaced, thousands of people being misplaced, and they need the resources to know how they can, avoid it, prevent it, and if they're in it, what steps they can do in order to make sure it doesn't come to fruition, where it doesn't go all the way through those steps and they're losing their home. So this is great information. Like I'm saying, it's like going from first-time homeowners to first-time homeless, because of this pandemic and all of the things that's coming out of it. That's really affecting the economy. Really is.
Right. A couple of things I wanted to say. You mentioned earlier, will people still be able to stay in your home? Yes, you can if you know the right actions and right steps to take. If you do not, of course, they will put you out. The other thing I was going to say is if you have a situation where you don't know the resources, we also have resource companies and partners we work with that will give you information on different ways to get access to money or different things of that nature. So that's very important. But I do want to mention also something you said earlier. The government has the money. They were given $42 billion to give out to people that were going through these, mainly renters, not really homeowners. They haven't had a program to come out with that we're aware of. But for renters, definitely. The problem with that is the money was being held up from people to actually get that money. So but the other flip side is they weren't they weren't stopping the foreclosures. So that's another reason why they need someone or they need time to tie that property up. Because if you tie that property up, you get the money, now you're able to catch it up. But that's kind of Pandora's box, so to speak. There's more to it. So that's our job to figure out how can we tie it up? How can we educate you? How can we get you in a better situation? So it's many different layers of things going on at multiple times. So that's why you need, it's priceless to have someone that knows what they're doing with this. Go ahead. You were going to
All
ask a
right, so
question.
if I'm in foreclosure or about to go in foreclosure and I want to stop it, what do I pick up the phone and I call you? What are you going to tell me to do next?
Well, what I'm going to tell you is give us your information, which means your deed, your driver's license, your if you're facing, it depends on the nature. Foreclosure, we need a foreclosure notice. If you're facing eviction, we need the eviction letter. Then we'll analyze that, and then we'll tell you exactly what you need to do. What are our next steps in getting this thing tied up? Because a lot of times, again, I don't want to keep sounding redundant, but people need time to figure out what's the best alternative. And in Georgia, if you're not, Georgia's not what they call at will state, meaning like Florida, take for example. Florida, there's a loss mitigation process they put you through, even with the court system. But in Georgia, it's an at will state. They can just move forward very progressively in putting you out, foreclosing on you, evicting you, and putting you out. They don't
Well,
have
I
no
mean,
loss mitigation. Go ahead.
with the
You
real estate
understand?
market the way that it is right now, of course, they don't have enough property to sell for all the people that want property. So I'm sure
Absolutely.
they're going to snatch them up as quickly as they hit the book, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a seller's market right now. So again, going back to what I was saying earlier, in retrospect, that's why the National Realtors Association filed this lawsuit against the government to say, hey, you're holding up progress, holding us up from making money. But so that's hurting people now. And so we don't want that. We want as many people, even if you can't save the property, being able to be in a position to transition into a better situation. So, oh, by the way, I was going to say, so we work with homeowners and renters too that are facing foreclosure, well, facing eviction or
Eviction.
foreclosure. Yes.
Okay, so if I all right, so I would provide you with the information, and then about how long do I, because now I'm nervous. I've provided you all the info. I don't know if I'm going to get the property tied up. How long do I have now? Because
I think
maybe I was thinking I was going to be able to put the loan on the back end, the money that I didn't pay out now. I was thinking that they were just going to put it on the back end of the loan.
You
So how
said
long do
how?
I have in my home?
Well, every case and every situation, it's no, and I don't want to sound like I'm repeating.
Right. We're losing you.
froze up.
It just depends on the nature of what you're dealing with, and it depends on what if it's a foreclosure or eviction. Can you guys hear me?
Much
Mm-hmm.
better.
Hello? Hello?
Much better.
Hello?
Yeah,
We can hear
we
you.
can hear you.
Hello? Hello?
We
Hello?
can hear you. We hear you.
Hello? Hello?
That's what
Hello?
happens when we do it live, right?
Hello?
We hear
Hello?
you.
Uh, I said, did you guys hear what I said or no?
Say it again, but we can hear you very clearly.
Okay, I said it really depends on every situation is different. You can't paint a broad brush with, because it depends on the bank we're dealing with. It depends on how like if you're a foreclosure, you got 4 weeks or you got a week. Every situation is different. But usually with every situation, even if somebody came to us, which we don't recommend what I'm about to say, even if you came to us within 3 or 4 days, we've been known to stop foreclosures. But we would prefer you give us at least 2 to 3 weeks because now, and the reason why I'm saying that is because now you have more options and alternatives opposed to you just coming and waiting 3 or 4 days and then hey, well, it limits what we can do. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
so but if you come to us, at least give us at least 2 weeks, we'll figure something out. We'll figure a way to, even if we tie it up. Sometimes people, like I was saying earlier in retrospect, people just need time. And time sometimes that works against you, but if you buy time, now it gives you an opportunity to restructure it, possibly reduce it, refinance it, negotiate it. There's so many different things that can take place within that time frame. Or even if you say, hey, look, I don't really want to be here anymore, but can you give me another month? I'm just going to use that as an example to tie my property up so I can transition into something else. We can do that as well.
So we had a question that asked, what are your fees? Are you a part of a nonprofit
Great,
organization
great,
or are
great, great, great question. That's a great question. So typically we work with low income families. Our fees, we're with United Ways, a lot of United Ways all over the country. Usually our fees, the way they have it set up is set up on a sliding scale. So the fees could be anywhere from 250 to maybe maximum 300 on a.
okay, we heard 250 to a maximum of 300, and then
We
we
have
lost
been known to work with elderly people and sometimes not charge any fees.
you.
So
Okay.
it really varies depending on the family and the situation. Can you
Okay.
guys hear
And
me? Hello?
yes. Do you
Yeah,
are you
so
can
I
you help
can't hear
us
you.
stay statewide.
But yes. Hello? Hello?
So Sheldon,
Hello? Hello?
We can hear you.
all right. So my
Hello?
question flow to him
Can't
was,
hear you guys. What's going on? Hello?
Oh, he's gone again. What was that question, Tanya?
so I was just asking whether or not he'd be able to help us statewide. We want to be sure that he can, help people that's outside of the Savannah area. I mean, outside of the Atlanta area. And,
I
because
think he did clarify that. He said nationwide. He did indicate that they can help people nationwide. So it's just not limited to the Atlanta, Georgia area. So that's good news.
I can't unmute him, so he must be muted.
Okay.
Okay.
Hello? Hello?
Can
Yes,
you hear
sir.
us?
Hello?
Can you hear us?
Hello? Hello?
We can hear you, Sheldon.
Hello?
Let me text him, let him know we hear him, even though he doesn't.
All right.
Hello? Hello?
We can hear you.
Yeah, I just took him out for a minute. So Florence, I mean, this is great information because we know that we have our own tent housing around here in Savannah, and so we want to avoid there being even more. And there is assistance. I don't know if I really got the answer of if there are programs out there. I know EOA has a program that helps people with their I know that there's a program where people are getting assistance for evictions.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know if that money is running out or whether it's still there.
Well, yeah. Mm-hmm. Can I interject? The money is still there. The problem with that is you're having for some reason, when it gets through to processing it, people are having issues obtaining those funds. They're saying, well, we're backlogged and we're not able to get you the money right away. But the problem is there's no middle ground for the homeowner or the renter to forestall the foreclosure. They're still pursuing the foreclosure or eviction on people. So there's no middle ground. That's where we come in. We're like, hey, we're going to find a creative way to tie that property up. So now it buys you the time. Again, that's why I keep on mentioning that. That's an important key in the whole process. And like I said, other states, they have processes where you can negotiate. And then if you can't work anything out, then they pursue it for a foreclosure or eviction. Georgia is not like that, unfortunately. That's one of the things we're pushing for too, to get some kind of loss mitigation to negotiate, mandate through the state, so you can now figure out what's the best alternative and option and give a person a time to work something out. Unfortunately, we don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Did we get a clarity on the fee charge? What you charge?
Oh, yes. I said, so our fees can range anywhere from $250 to $300. That's on a sliding scale. That's how we work. We're one of the organizations we're a big part of is the United Way. And that's how we operate with their people. We do it on a sliding scale. So, and then another thing, which I'm going to say, even if a person says, hey, well, look, I don't have $350. Could you guys work with me? We'll work with you with a payment. Even, you pay us a percentage down in good faith, I guess, for lack of a better word. And then we'll work with you on the rest of the payments. So it's no reason why no one can't work with us.
We got a question. on our Facebook right now. Someone asked a question. Do some of the mortgage companies offer assistance to keep their customers from going into foreclosures, such as programs offers or putting the payments on the back end of the loan? So
Again,
it
go
depends.
ahead. It
Go ahead.
really, it does depend. And the reason why it depends on it, if it's not a government loan, VA, FHA, Fannie Mac, Freddie Mac, or VA type loan, typically, no, they will not. And even with some of those, they're saying, no, we're not doing it, even though technically and legally they're supposed to do it, because people don't know, they'll tell them what they want to tell them. But usually if they fit into those categories, if it's not a government loan, no, they will not work with you. They're requiring that the money be paid in full.
Explain to the audience what is a government loan. So a conventional loan, would that be covered or no?
Conventional will not. No, ma'am. Conventional will definitely not. No, it does not. That's what they live. Go ahead.
What are the kind of loans they are? Conventional, so that will not be covered. What are the loans? Do you name the ones that
conventional? Conventional. There's hard money. There's private investor loans. There's a multitude of different type loans. But if you don't have the ones fit in the categories that I mentioned, VA, FHA, Fannie Mac, or Freddie Mac, or VA, you will not be covered.
Wow.
Not at all. No.
See, that's good information, because I'm about to build me a new home, and I didn't know about this and stuff here. Conventional loans, because knowing the differences and the backing that you have. So wow.
Whoa.
Wow. It's scary, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It is definitely scary. No, none of us are prepared to, lose our homes. And then after we have put so much into it, yes, we went into the pandemic, and, we learned that we could put our mortgage on hold. And then after putting your mortgage on hold, now you figure, oh, I didn't know I was going to have to pay this lump sum back, Yeah. And so now that I got to pay this lump sum, I don't have a lump sum. I hadn't even been working, until later, So how am I going to even do this? And I hear him say that, you can put it, you're tying it up. But then after you tie it up, what is my financial commitment still going to be? Will I still be able to stay in my home? And so that's another question, Sheldon.
Well, go ahead. I don't want to.
If I tie up, okay, if I thought that I was going to be able to, have my home later, and then you hold it up or tie up the house, what is my financial commitment going to be on the other end when it comes out? Am I just going to go back into paying my mortgage, or am I still got to have this big debt that's sitting over my head?
Well, I can answer that in multiple ways. One of the things I would say is that's why we do the research, because sometimes we'll find, and I'm going to vary and get into a whole nother conversation on this. Sometimes we've had situations, I'll say it like this. We've had situations with people that we come to find out when we did the title work and research, we found the company that's claiming that you owe this debt on this property, they don't even own the deed to the property. So we were able to free up the debt. So that's why I was saying we restructure, reduce, refinance, and eliminate debt. Because we're going to do a thorough research and background to find out who is actually controlling this debt. And if it's not, in our business, there's what's called break in title, chain of title, and there's also called break of title, meaning the debt itself really you may not even owe it because this company sold it to another company, but they never filed the deeds to the property as the rightful owner. So you really don't even owe them. We have a situation with a lady like that right now, and we're going to help free her debt up because when they transferred it, they never owned the debt. The title was broken. And I don't want to get too technical, but do you guys understand what I'm saying? Does that make any sense?
I'm getting it.
Okay. So yeah, and that's getting really technical, but it's so many different. That's why I keep saying it's so many different variations of things, and every situation is a little unique and different from the other situation. To just put it all in a box, you'd be doing a huge disservice and a disjustice to people. That's why it's so important to have someone like us to look at all the different aspects of it. And then when we come back and we tell you this is what it is, this is how we're going to help you.
Okay.
You know, so and that's what, go ahead.
So help us now with those that have evictions. Lots of people live in apartments, and again, some of them were able to access money, some are not. And then after we deal with the people and the individual, what about the person that owns those properties and hasn't been able to pay mortgage? Is there assistance out there, or can you help them?
Yeah, first things first, the first thing you mentioned, a lot of times, like I mentioned to you in retrospect, I'm going to go back and forth. I mentioned to you about the lady. She had got into a disagreement. I'm talking about, this was a lady that was in an apartment with herself and her family. She got in a disagreement with management. Well, management was fed up. They didn't want to deal with her anymore. We came in the midst of it, and so they served her with eviction. You have 10 days or 15 days to get out of your apartment. We came in and we negotiated with the management as well as their attorneys, and we were able to stop the eviction from taking place. So that's how we help people. A lot of times, negotiations, we're like the middleman between the individual, the landlord or bank, and the individual, and we go in, we negotiate with them. And a lot of times that helps. And the other positive thing is they understand when they're talking to someone that knows the business. So they're not going to deal in the same aspect they would with the average layperson, so to speak. As far as the landlord, same thing. We can negotiate with the bank to say, hey, such and such thing is taking place. We want to work this out. Here's what, and the homeowner, apartment complex person doesn't, this is their situation. So they're more apt to listen to us because they know we have the expertise, the knowledge, and also we're the go-between to help them to work it out, so to speak. So a lot of times that cushions a lot of stuff. There may be some hard feelings or animosity or what have you. We stand in the gap for that.
Okay. I have a question real quick.
So
I know you have a lot of
yes,
clients, but what's your ratio of success?
Right.
What's your client ratio? If 10 people came to you, would you be able to help all 10, or is there some people that came to you?
Well, that is an awesome question you asked, actually. Fantastic. So my answer to that question is typically, yes, we can help just about everybody. The problem we find is sometimes, and we've been in business 30 years, by the way, so we've seen everything. But to answer your question, what we tell people is this is the key factor. You don't just give us information or pay us a little fee to help you, and then we're constantly trying to get in touch with you. We can't get in touch with you, or you get something from, let's say if it's a foreclosure, you're getting stuff from the bank, from the courts, from the attorney, from the trustee, and you're out of town and your stuff is just sitting there in your mailbox. We can't help you, because one of the things we ask and we require, let us know what's going on. You get anything from any of those entities I mentioned, if we don't know you've received it, we can't help you. So you help us to help you. It's not one-sided. You got to be an active participant. Does that answer your question?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And Sheldon, we thank you so much for being with us today. We have your information up. It says Sheldon Hill, Senior Vice President of Foreclosure International. And you can be reached at, what's your email and your phone number?
Email we can be reached at, and thank you for asking. Email we can be reached at is info, INFO, at FIGWW.com. The phone number we can be reached at directly is 770-256-7881. And again, like I said, we are a national company. We're not just based out of Georgia. We do this all over the country and soon to be all over the world. I would say.
And how long have you been in business?
One other thing
30 years.
30 years. And one other thing I would say is that, don't ever wait until the last minute. If nothing else, call to know your options. That's so important. And one other thing, we also do legacy trusts. We didn't even get into that. We believe in creating a legacy, not a will. Wills go into probate. Trust, you can pass on to whoever, a family or a sibling or what have you, to where it's not tied up in probate, meaning, God forbid something were to happen to you, everything goes into probate if it's in your name. Banks and wealthy people don't put stuff in their name. They put it in a trust. So there's other elements as well. So I just wanted to add that as well.
Is that a different fee to do a trust?
Is there? Yes, it is a different fee, and it just depends on, but again, we work with people. We're here, we've been doing this 30 years, so we understand people don't have like a ton of money sitting around. We're not like the banks. We're willing to work with you. And once we help you, if you go visit our website, which is FIGWW.com, you'll see tons of testimonies all over the country where we help people. So, yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. We truly appreciate all that you've shared. And we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Our guests, we always are trying to provide information to the community so that they know where to get help. So again, I'm going to post up your information. I added your website, which is www.figww.com, where people can go and put in the info. But thank you, Sheldon, for being with us. We truly appreciate your assistance today and all the help that you're giving here to the Savannah community.
Well, thank you. And I appreciate you ladies for inviting us today to speak on very, very crucial issues and times we're living in. So
absolutely.
Thank you.
Again, thank you. Tanya, you want to close this out, baby girl? Anthony was going to come in and close this out. You want to go ahead and close this out? We did. That was fantastic. That was great. I love it.
Yes, it was awesome. A lot of information. I'm not sure if we got everything out of Sheldon, but now people know not to wait if they are facing foreclosures or evictions, that there is some help out there. And if you don't want to save your property, it definitely can be sold, because these realtors are out here.
Out there.
It's a buyer's, it's a seller's market. So hey, no, I wouldn't let it go for cheap. Save it, hold it for a little while, I'll tell you. But everyone, thank you for joining us. We are back week after week. We'll be here providing information, hopefully that we are correcting issues that you're having in finances, or you're learning something new from us. Join us every Friday at 1:00 on Financial Sins. Please make sure that you like and share All Things Relevant Media and our program. We have a whole list of different programs that are All Things Relevant. Please join us. Join the other programs, and we thank you so much for being with us. My co-host, Miss Mad Flo and Anthony Murray, we'll be here with you, just finding more exciting things to share. I think next week we talked about doing oh wow, we talked about something with small businesses and contracts for Georgia. So hey, be with us. Go ahead, Flo.
No, I'm just telling everybody, tune in.
Yeah, tune in, and thank you so much. You all have a great one.
All right. Thanks, Tanya. See you next week.
See you next week.